Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and I'm doing my top 10 favourite albums of 2014. This is the big one, the big videos, and of course I'd love to know in the comments below what were some of your favourite albums of 2014. What albums do you think should have been on this entire top 50 and that I missed off? I'd be very interested to know. So let us start with number 10, and this is one that's topped and been a bit higher in many people's lists, but I wouldn't quite give it my number one spot, but it's certainly a wonderful album. To Be Kind by Swans. As I said, this album's received pretty much universal critical acclaim throughout the year. The thing with me, this album took me a hell of a long time to get into. I mean, this is 2 hours of intense, weird, noisy, experimental rock music that's sort of strangely entrancing and provides this meditative experience while also being even a tad creepy at times. Swans to Be Kind is the most difficult listen I've had to face in 2014, but damn is it a journey I'm pleased I went on. The analogy I'd use for Swans to Be Kind is that it's like trying to climb to the summit of Everest. It's going to be an ordeal, it's going to be arduous and, well, bloody difficult, but when you get there, it's going to have all been worthwhile. You're going to feel that sense of, yes, pleased I did that. And that's how listening to Be Kind is, especially at first. The album can seem daunting and rather overwhelming. But as the songs like Screenshot and Bring the Sun start to seep into your mind and you start to become used to the sounds, I find the album really starts to uncover itself and you find this truly special, momentous album. I admit I was not too familiar with Swans and I still have not heard albums such as The Seer, I can't remember their other album names that well. I'm only quite new to Swans, so do forgive my lack of knowledge. They seem to be going a long time, and many people I've heard called this one of, if not their best work. And I can understand why. You know, I'm not going to give it a perfect 10. It's not my favourite album of the year, but it's a massive accomplishment and a stunning musical journey. At number 9, the best supergroup album of 2014, Second Nature by Flying Colours. Flying Colours are one of my all-time favourite supergroups. To me, they are just the epitome of progressive rock supergroups. Now that Transatlantic, well, aren't doing stuff quite as interesting as Flying Colours, this to me is Mike Portnoy, the Extreme Theatre drummer's premier musical project. Yes, Winery Dogs are fantastic, and then we had Adrenaline Mob, which was Adrenaline Mob, and Transatlantic, which was good, very good, but just a little disappointing this year. But Flying Colours, they just knock it out of the park in 2014 with this genius offering. Now, personally, I admit, I prefer their debut album to Second Nature. I know most people prefer Second Nature, and that's fair enough. I can see it's a natural progression of their sound, and definitely more of an expansion and foray into the prog elements that was, of course, very present in Flying Colours' debut album. But I would say here, they're definitely being pushed more so to the forefront. You see, the thing with their debut that I loved, I just loved the melody and pop sensibilities that Casey McPherson, the lead singer, brought to the table. And combine that with Neil Morse's, of course, ex from Spock's Beard, combine his melodic and Beatles-esque sensibilities of that, Portnoy's prog metal background, Steve Morse's Deep Purple and Dixie Dregs roots, and then you have Dave LaRue, also from Dixie Dregs. I thought it provided a very interesting experience, and I thought it was a very unique album in progressive rock music. And yeah, I particularly enjoyed, as I said, the contributions of Casey McPherson. And Second Nature really continues that. While they definitely go in more of a prog direction and on more of a prog tangent here, with a couple of songs over 10 minutes and definitely some longer songs, they still maintain that catchiness, those hooks that made them such a compelling listen in the first place. There's something about the debut that just has such a soft spot in my heart. Songs like Everything Changes, Kayla, they just resonate with me on such a profound level. But Second Nature, they just strike gold yet again. If you don't know these guys, check them out. Number 8, it's time to be cliche. Be cliche as all hell. This is in everyone's top 10s this year, but you know what? I don't care. It's in everyone's top 10s because it deserves to be in everyone's top 10s. Yes, Milana Kazmata by Trypticon. How could this not be in here? This is fantastic. Okay, I admit I wasn't a fan of either Celtic Frost or Trypticon at the beginning of the year, but over 2014, definitely become a Trypticon fan. I was lucky enough to see them supporting At the Gates live, and oh my god, Tom G. Warrior live is just amazing. It is just, Trypticon is so fantastic. And with Milana Kazmata, they really create a dark, Celtic Frost sort of monotheist-like journey, crushing riffs, foreboding atmosphere, and definitely the heaviest, darkest atmosphere of 2014's metal records. It's just so dense, so disturbing at parts of a listen. And what I really like about Trypticon is they definitely take... Monotheist is my personal favourite Celtic Frost album. I do love, well, most of Celtic Frost work, to be honest. You know, To Make Ethereum is probably my second favourite. But there's something about the atmosphere on Monotheist that just appeals to me that bit more. And I really feel that Trypticon has been a natural progression, exploring further that sounds that Tom G. Warrior established in Monotheist. And Milana Kazmata really, I think, is just one of the epitomes of that. Well, I really like their first album, and in particular a song like Progeny, which is my favourite Trypticon song, definitely. Here, they just had the variety with the massive, crushing, down-tuned, slow songs, the faster, heavier ones. Everything about this, everything about the atmosphere. Again, I can't stress enough how great the atmosphere was on this album. Trypticon delivered one of the best metal records of the year, and bloody well deserve all the praise they're getting. Number 7. 2014 has been a great year for Doom. Great year for Doom. And, well, the best Doom album? Fountains of Burden by Pallbearer. Oh, as I said, in recent years, Doom has just been really getting better and better, and I really felt 2014 was a culmination of this, and Pallbearer, the culmination of the culmination. They topped them all with their dark tones, musical diversity, and exceptional songwriting, topped off with a very strong vocalist. What Pallbearer do well is they create diversity in Doom. Doom can often be, well, dull as all hell if not done correctly. That's one of the things people often say about criticism Doom is that, oh, it's boring, it's focusing on same chord progressions for about half an hour and it doesn't go anywhere and it's just same type of things. Yeah, I can definitely find that with Doom at times. While I do love me some classic Doom, I definitely can echo those concerns. But Pallbearer, they just bring this extra touch, this flair, this special something that really just reinvigorates what Doom means in 2014. I definitely think this is an important release of the year, and what, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people preferred Yob's Clearing Paths to Ascend. I really couldn't quite get into that album, I have to say. But, you know, alongside albums like Electric Wizards, Time to Die, Black Moss, Condemned to Hope, and honestly many, many more. 2014, very strong for Doom, and Pallbearer, the best. At number 6 now, I really wasn't expecting to make it this high in my list, and the style of music that wouldn't quite make it this high, what I do have a fondness for. It's not something I really found myself listening to all that much, but, well, Here and Nowhere Else by Cloud Nothings is the exception to the rule. So if you don't know Cloud Nothings, they're sort of an indie rock band. And indie rock's not something I often listen to. I'm not massive into it. I like it from time to time. There's definitely some bands I enjoy the style. But this album, this just knocked my socks off. I found this so gripping. I discovered this from EQP TV's end of year list. He placed this fairly high. Well, it was in his list. So I was just checking out a couple of the albums that I hadn't heard of in his list. So just you googled this on YouTube and found the song I'm Not Part of Me. And instantly I fell just head over heels in love with this band. The songs have a charm, killer hooks and fuzzy, noisy riffs, simplistic power chords driven music at its essence, but done so well. I mean, you could say, well, why is this higher than an album like Swans or Trypticon? These are musical accomplishment, these peaks of the genre, these defining albums in music. Because at the end of the day, my top 50 isn't about what were the most important or significant releases of 2015 or what had the most musical importance and gravitas. No, it's instead just about what I enjoyed, and I love the living shit out of Here and Nowhere Else by Cloud Nothings. Simple as. It's the most fun, bright, upbeat listen of the year for me, and an album that I think I'm going to be replaying constantly in 2015. I just seem to be addicted to I'm Not Part of Me. It's like a good hit of heroin. You just can't get enough. Number 5. Distant Satellite by Anathema. Now this received a more lukewarm reception than the, well, critically applauded Weather Systems, which was my favourite album of 2012 and is still in my top 10 favourite albums of all time. I've never got sick of that album. Anathema are just some of my musical heroes, a bunch of Liverpudlians who are, in my opinion, the undisputed crescendo kings. And I think they've proven themselves to maintain that title yet again with Distant Satellite. Yes, some of my natural bias towards them because they're fellow Liverpudlians, but when they create music so beautiful, so ethereal and so powerful, I just stand up and take note. And while Distant Satellites doesn't reach the lofty heights and the massive bar that Weather Systems set, I still feel that it's a strong release. One of the things we'll criticise them for on this album was adding a more electronic element to their music. So the album at times can, well, as some people have said, feel a little disjointed. I personally have found myself disagreeing with those opinions. To me, this album, yes, I would say it's maybe an album of two halves, with the first half being like familiar, comfortable, Weather Systems, we're here because we're here, modern day Anathema, and the other half feeling progressive. And that's what I really like about this, and I think the way that the song orders worked out, I find the transition into the more electronic heavy songs, something like Distant Satellites, which is extremely electronic, and their progression into more Kid A territories, naturally goes throughout the album. Yes, you start off traditional and you end off weird, but I really feel the way that they've sequenced it has made the transition not so jarring and not so disjointed, and easy to fall into. And I like where they've gone here. I do think that it might have been a little better if they'd gone either all-out electronica or all-out Weather Systems-esque, but I'm not complaining. I saw them live, they were stunning. I heard the album, and it's stunning too. Definitely check out Distant Satellites. And number 4, an album I haven't really seen in anyone's end-of-year list, because there were bands that, well, aren't that popular anymore. Their heyday's been and gone, but that doesn't mean they're still not, well, brilliant. Escape from the Shadow Garden by Magnum. We have to have Magnum in here. Oh, how I love Magnum. They're one of my favourite rock bands of all time. And if you don't know Magnum, they're from Birmingham, and they're sort of a hard rock, melodic rock, AOR type band from the 80s who came to prominence with albums like On a Storyteller's Night and Chase the Dragon, songs such as Les Morts d'Ansan, the title track on the Storyteller's Night, How Far Jerusalem, one of their best, and they're still going to this day and going damn strong. This is just a hugely consistent career that they've had, with their latter day period delivering, in my opinion, some of their best work. In fact, my favourite album is Into the Valley of the Moon King, which was released in 2009, 2010. And I've loved their stuff ever since they reformed in the early 2000s and released Brave New Morning. I think that's what it's called. And here, this just stands yet again with my absolute favourite Magnum albums. They're just so good at the moment. They're just absolutely on fire. And they seem to release on such a consistent basis. Whatever Tony Clarkin is doing to produce these song ideas, I hope he keeps on doing it. I want to hear more Magnum, and what we've had so far is just brilliant. They deliver some of the best choruses in rock music, and yet they're still delivering interesting music. Yes, their albums are relatively similar to one another, and they're not the most progressive band the world's ever known, but when you're delivering songs like Midnight Angel, I just don't care, because that's such a great freaking song. That's what Magnum do. They deliver just such a consistent, strong album. May not be innovative, but it's like eating the most delicious piece of cake and it's served up to you again, just with a slightly different flavour of icing. It's still bloody delicious, even if you've tasted some of it before. Number 3, another cliche album. Let's get another cliche out of the way, shall we? Once More Around the Sun by Mastodon. The Hunter, their previous album, not great. Not too great. Once More Around the Sun, oh my god, Mastodon, you've hit the nail on the head. This is my second favourite Mastodon album. Only Crack the Sky can eclipse that, and that's because, well, it's Crack the freaking Sky. Here, they build on the commercial and, as I said, not too great sounds of The Hunter, and manage to strike the right balance of sludgy riffs and catchy melodies. And also, this album cover you're seeing now, this is the best album artwork of 2014, without a doubt. To us, this is honestly some of my favourite album artwork of all time. I'm in love with the album cover. As soon as I saw the album cover released, it was like, I don't know how the music can actually just live up to the cover, because the cover is so amazing. And it actually does. I had the privilege of seeing them at Sólstafir, and they really delivered, and the songs they played live from this album, High Road and Chimes at Midnight, particularly Chimes at Midnight, really just fitted in with the set. When I first heard the single High Road, I admit I was a little sceptical. It just felt, quite Hunter-esque, quite just straightforward Mastodon, but hearing it in the context of the album and with the other songs, you have, I think it's Diamonds in the Witch House that features Thingy and Bobby from Neurosis, and it's really annoying me I can't remember his name because I freaking love Neurosis. And I really just feel that they managed to keep those catchy choruses while also having sludgy, heavy, killer freaking riffs. Mastodon, they've struck that balance, they've struck the freaking goldmine, and just well done to them. I adore Once More Around the Sun. Absolutely love it. That's why it's number 3. And number 2, an album for a lot of the year, I thought would be number 1. Great Western Valkyrie by Rival Sons. Rival Sons in recent years have delivered some amazing albums. They've cemented themselves really as the kings of the sort of 70s revival classic rock genre. Well, there's many bands who just seem to be retreading and reiterating the ground that was being covered by Led Zeppelin, Doors, Bad Company and Free, all the classic bands you associate with late 60s and early to mid 70s rock. Rival Sons slowly and steadily have been setting themselves apart from the crowd. Their breakthrough album, Pressure in Time, their second release, received critical acclaim and was certainly an enjoyable album. It featured short, catchy songs and got me interested in the band. Then Heads Down, their third album, they went in a, they managed to expand on that sound. It felt like a natural progression. They had some longer songs, some more emphasis on guitar solos, like on Manifest Destiny, but yet still while retaining that short catchiness. And then Great Western Valkyrie. I was expecting this to be good, because I like Rival Sons a lot. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. No. I was not expecting it to be this good. Rival Sons have, well, with Great Western Valkyrie, they've gone from being a band that sounds quite a bit like Zeppelin to being a band that sounds quite a bit like Rival Sons. And that's what I love about this. Here, they've carved their own sound. They've distinguished themselves from the rest of the pack. But yes, they wear their influences. You can see where they're inspired from. But you hear a Rival Sons song now, and you know it can only be Rival Sons when you hear something like Electric Man or Open Your Eyes. Then they've also managed to, what they managed to do brilliantly here is incorporate the perfect balance between the longer, more progressive, you could even say, songs, and certainly psychedelic tinged songs like Destination on Course, and then the catchy, in-your-face hits of Electric Man. When I saw them live, I can only describe it as being akin to how I've heard people describe Led Zeppelin in 1970. That rush, that energy that just seems almost once in a lifetime. And that's what I really feel emanates from someone like Jay Buchanan, who, as a frontman, I think is carving himself a name that honestly doesn't feel out of place being mentioned next door to Jim Morrison and Robert Plant, and that's no exaggeration. And the guitarist doesn't feel too out of place next to Beck and Clapton. These are a band that are going places. This is a band that has established themselves, and this is a band that have created a true classic rock album. Not classic as in replicating the sounds of old, classic as in 20 years I still believe people will be talking about Rival Sons and about Great Western Valkyrie, and I certainly will be one of them. And number one though, how do you beat Rival Sons? You beat it with an album that is once in a generation, a truly defining album. We're of course talking about Baby Metal's self-titled album. How could it be anything else? No. We're not talking about Baby Metal self-titled. No, I genuinely would have that as an honourable mention, because I actually do have a fondness for Baby Metal. I know, kill me in the comments, but I do. No. My number one album of the year is Otter by Sólstafir. Man. I don't even know where to start with Otter. A flawless, modern masterpiece that sets the bar of atmospheric metal to just new heights. That's the notes I have written about this on the screen I'm looking at. And it truly does. These guys from Iceland, they've been going for a long time. I think they've been going since the mid-90s. They're one of Iceland's prominent metal bands. Finally, they're starting to get some recognition over here in England and mainland Europe, and particularly in Britain. They're starting to garner some attention. And Otter, oh wow, I mean, Svartius van Daar got them some attention. Their previous album, a double album. No, that was a good album, really strong album. And when I went into this, because I'd already heard Svartius van Daar before, and I thought, yeah, of course, for Otter, yeah, it's probably be like an 8 out of 10, being my, maybe top 20 of the year. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then when I listened to it, I was in, I was on holiday in Estonia when I listened to this album for the first time. I just streamed it on my tablet through the Wi-Fi connection, late at night, headphones in. And yeah, I was thinking, okay, you know, give this a listen. Hopefully it'll be good. I mean, I know it's going to be all in Icelandic, because they are from Iceland and sing mostly in all Icelandic. And I thought, okay, yeah, this will probably be decent. At the end of it, I was so excited about the band. It was just a rush. It was like, I found it. It's like uncovered the Holy Grail. I felt the same thing when I heard River Systems by Anathema. That was an album that had profound impact upon me musically, emotionally, upon every facet of my mortal being. And Otter by Sólstafir does that yet again. It's the most exciting album I've heard in music since, yeah, for a long time, to be quite honest, since I listened to OK Computer by Radiohead the other year. This album to me defines what it means to be an atmospheric band. It defines what it means to create a crescendo. And the fact it can have such an emotional resonance with me without a word of it being in English is a testament to the raw emotion expressed in this album. You can just hear it in the singer's voice. Everything he's saying you understand, yet I don't speak a word of Icelandic. I don't know literally what he's saying, but yet I can feel the emotion he's expressing course through me. I can just feel it, and I can know without being able to express it in words or being able to tangibly elucidate what the emotions are. I just know them. And that's why Otter by Sólstafir is my #1 by far. By far. It is leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of 2014. As I said before, wonderful albums in 2014. Albums I'll listen to for years in 2014. But Otter's in my top 28 favourite albums of all time. Otter's set a new high, and Sólstafir are quickly becoming one of my favourite bands. Listen to them. I implore you, if you listen to nothing else on this list, please, I'll go on my hands and knees begging you to listen to this album. Whatever your musical taste, whether you just listen to classic rock, you just listen to death metal, that somehow you watch my channel and all you listen to is Death Grips and Aphex Twins. Just please listen to this album. And I hope you have the same connection you do as I have. You may not, and I understand. It's a very personal connection I feel with Otter. But there's something about this that just transcends the music released. They've created something that is truly existential in nature. This has been TheAIbumMan. Thank you for watching. It has been quite a long video, considering we only talked about 10 albums, but I really want to talk about these in detail. I'm known for my detail, and I just feel so passionately about these albums, I had to express it. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.